The much anticipated and awaited OIC Summit has finally been hosted in the Gambia despite the numerous postponements. The OIC delegates and heads of state have come and gone, leaving behind one thing that is not good for the Gambians. All Gambians need to hear this and take necessary measures to make sure that they don't fall victim. But what are we talking about? This is what we are talking about. We have received anecdotal evidence about the rumors that Saudi Arabia will be offering Gambians opportunities to go and work in Saudi Arabia. If this rumor happens to be true, then there will be fire in the mountain because of the following reasons. Saudi Arabia is not a country where people of color, meaning Africans, can go and work comfortably due to their clean track record of gross human rights violations and abuses towards Africans, which in the majority of cases lead to death, as we have seen in the deaths of the 89 Kenyans that went to work in Saudi Arabia. The African Regional Organization of the International Trade Union Confederation stated that they were shocked to learn that 89 Kenyan migrant, the majority being domestic workers in Saudi Arabia, have died over the past 2 years under suspicious circumstances and gross physical abuse. The staggering number of Africans dying in Saudi Arabia is deeply troubling, and we want to urge all Gambians to refrain from going to work in Saudi Arabia and other Arab countries by extension, especially as domestic workers. Migrants, especially African migrants, go through all forms of abuse in Saudi Arabia, including rape, torture, burns, and falls from heights as reported by Amnesty International. Scene script: Ethiopians as well as other African countries are also going through hell at the hands of Saudi Arabian authorities with gross human rights abuses. Saudi authorities have forcibly returned hundreds of thousands of Ethiopian migrants after arbitrarily holding them in indefinite detention in inhuman and cruel conditions solely because they do not have valid residency documents, a situation exacerbated by Saudi's abusive kafala system, according to Amnesty International. The organization is calling upon the Saudi authorities to investigate cases of torture as well as at least 10 deaths in Saudi custody in 2022. Surveys conducted by organizations like Afrobarometer have documented instances of discrimination and xenophobia towards African migrants in various Arab countries. These attitudes can contribute to social exclusion, limited access to services, and vulnerability to exploitation and abuse. Many African migrants in the Arab world lack adequate legal protection. According to the International Trade Union Confederation, ITU, labor laws in some Arab countries exclude domestic workers from key protections, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation and abuse. This is likely what Gambians will go through, just like their counterparts in other African countries. Besides, we all have seen the case of the 38 Gambian workers who got stranded in Lebanon for months in 2020 without any support from the government. These Gambians went through all forms of punishment, including torture and rape. All thanks to an NGO called Action for Humanity, these Gambians returned home safely. If you go to the Arab world, know that you are on your own because the government will never come to your aid. The bottom line is this: the Arab world doesn't see Africans as humans, they see us Africans as slaves worthy of all forms of abuse. We know that the current state of the Gambia is very unfavorable, with the government making little to no efforts to bring about positive change. But going to the Arab world is very risky as a Gambian and as an African. Therefore, African Pacific is anxiously urging people to stay away from seeking employment in the Arab world, especially as domestic workers. If you must go, let it be a top job, because if not, you will face all forms of inhumane treatment, and by the time help arrives to you, it might just be too late. If you find this information useful, please like and share this video and subscribe to the African Pacific YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and act wisely.